computer, your mic at the crib, you can upload stuff to TuneCore, and you don't really need nobody, right? You that kind of genius just in your own room doing your thing.
Right.
How do people go about creating that atmosphere and creating that environment? And what are the key things that you think they need to have, like the key people that they need in place for that?
Number one is to get that environment where you put everybody together in the same room. And I think that you just hit the key thing of like, in this generation of emailing and like people creating by themselves, it's a vibe that comes about being with other people. If you and let's take it even out of hip hop, right? Just music in general. The greatest music in the history of just music in general in this country comes from small groups of people being localized in one place. Look at Motown. Go to Detroit and see how small that goddamn house is.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, this is just a regular fucking house. But the amount of historical music that came out of there because they had a local place to go and perform. So steel sharpens steel. So if you look at what Motown did in that little house, you can compare that to Stax. If you go to Stax and look at how small Stax is and the immense amount of music that came out of it, right? Let's look at Death Row. And we put all these people, Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and you know what I mean? Daz is in there, Corrupt is in there. All these people is in one specific place. Look at us. Rock, you know what I mean? Rock came from what was going on in baseline. It was genius because it's like instead of running before then, like the Bleak album we was doing before then is running around to a bunch of different studios. You knew that whole circuit. Like one day you be in Sound on Sound, the next day you be in Hit Factory, the next day you be in another thing. Like once we had baseline and everything was localized, not only is it a place where we could just make music at all times, but it was like you got hip hop there, right? Mm-hmm. Hop being like an A&R that really A&Rs, right? And I can't express that enough where like you got some A&Rs that A&R from a building. Hop is in the trenches with you, right? Like Hop is falling asleep on the couch with you at 2 o'clock in the morning, waking up. You know what I'm saying? We whether if it's a Beanie Siegel album, we might not even took showers, and that's not even a you know what I'm saying? We on the block hustling for 4 days straight. We wake up, we brush our teeth, we go get coffee, and we keep going. You know, like that environment. Then it's like somebody's gonna naturally go, yo, I don't like that. Can this be better? Can you do you? Steel sharpens steel. So if you by yourself in a room, you're not getting that interaction with people. And I mean your people, like people that whose opinion you respect. And we could be homeboys, but we're not all gonna think the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna like certain things, other people gonna like certain things. All of that mixture together is what made the magic. It's everybody together giving. Yo, I'll give you a perfect example. Like when just one night we did a Song Cry, right? And the Song Cry beat, the way it was when Jay rapped to it, is completely different than what's on the album, right? So as Kanye brought that CD in, Just goes in the other room like, okay, this is the vibe we on, right? He starts chopping up something and gave it to Jay. Jay loved it. Jay rapped over it. Now Just is going, okay, I'm going to flesh this out into the biggest thing. And he started chopping. He had like something like, I swear to you, like 90 some chops in there. He did it on the MPC 4000. So you had like 8 banks, right? And the whole time that he's doing it, I'm like, Just, this don't sound right to me. It's weird. It's off. Like the way you doing it is, he's like, no, trust me, Goo, trust me. When I get done with this, this is going to be amazing. I'm giving you an example of like, we will always question each other. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Anybody could talk on my mix. Yo, Goo, the vocals need to be a little bit more this. All right, give me 20 minutes. Let me get this together the way that you want it. Because it's not just my opinion. It's all of us as a collective loving whoever that person is and trying to make the best version of them. That's all it was. So the team is completely necessary. And here's the other part that people don't often talk about. We was comfortable being the music making part, right? But there was also another part of what G and what Lenny was doing as A&R. So if you got Hop on this super creative in the studio with you, going through the trenches, you know, to give the beat to Hop, he's going to be there constructing the album saying, yo, this person got 10 songs and we ready to, you still got to bow down to the fact that Lenny and G, once we gave them the crack, they know how to sell the crack. Those components you can't take away. So if you don't have a G who's like knows everybody, is cool with everybody, is the perfect person to run around and kiss the babies and be a politician, and you need that part. You need Lenny in the office. Lenny is the sharp dressing, the women love him. He's the one that everybody can, like people love Lenny. So you need that trifecta. We could be making the greatest music ever, but then if nobody know how to sell the music, it's just good music. How many good artists that you know sit around because they don't get out and they don't get the exposure?
Mm-hmm.
That team of somebody who don't do, you got to fill your circle with things that you don't do. A lot of times what like-minded people do is you get around other like-minded people who do exactly what you do.
Mm-hmm.
We do that a lot just off of law of attraction. I'm an MC that's nice. I'm gonna get around other MCs that's nice. Well, guess what? We need a lawyer in here.
Yo, what
we need the one of the homeboys that loves party promotion, right? He loves the talking. He's gonna be the promotion guy, the guy that just loves that. He's gonna make sure the flyer look right. He's gonna be coming up with ill ideas of the cover of the album, things we can base the name of the tour, things we can base the tour around, like those ideas, so that you as a creative, yeah, you're in there for the building of that, but then that allows you to go, okay, here's my ideas, go execute. And I can get back to being creative. You can have a 10-minute meeting about what you want your tour to look like, but you need somebody to go execute that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You can have a 10-minute meeting with your lawyer where he got just the little yellow pieces that you need to, here's the important shit. Do you agree with this, this, and this before you put your signature on it? Okay, me personally, right? I'm a person that reads a bunch of books on a high level with words that I don't understand. So I'm naturally, looking up those words. I'm not ashamed to tell somebody I don't know that word. Too many times people get the contract, they so happy that it's even a contract in front of them that they embarrassed to say, I don't know the difference between misfeasance and malfeasance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the difference between when the shit say perpetual. I don't know the difference between, and you just signed a contract that really says for the rest of your fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
Because you didn't understand the word. You need that homie in there. You know what I mean? You need the homie that is like what Pac said when he was talking to the Outlaws. He like, yo, y'all taking too long. Not to say y'all got to do the album in the speed I did, but you do your verse, the last thing you said, that's the hook. You leave that shit to Goo and niggas that want to be in here listening to the snare all night. Like, trust that, you know what I mean? Homie is good. You need a me. You need a, you know what I mean? And I'm saying me, like, okay, somebody who does love sonics and knows all the, you know what I mean, how to deliver those things and is worried about like, okay, well, how do I take Jay-Z sound from something that was on tape and on cassettes and then move to CDs and then move to a streaming and know all the difference between how the streaming levels are different. And, we used to do Red Book CDs and now that don't apply no more. And now I'm more concerned with what's the level of streaming. But you as Lupe Fiasco don't got to worry about what an LUFS level is. You probably never heard of that. But if your homie Goo, who studies that shit, knows it, then I'm going to refer to Goo. And Goo can easily explain it to you in a very simple way of, well, this is the way that we now do full scale on streaming services because we're not making CDs no more.
Mm-hmm.
The same way my friend that's a lawyer is going to come to me and be like, well, Goo, what we going to do about these videos being on iTunes? You as Lupe Fiasco, when you signed your deal, you didn't sign a deal that says I'm selling my video. The video was a promotional cost. But guess what? Your record label is selling those videos on iTunes. People's paying $1 to download Kick Push, the video. Okay, we got to renegotiate this contract. That was never in this thing that I signed.
Mm-hmm.
Your homie got to bring that up and be aware of that. And be like, okay, that's what I'm saying. When you build this team, look for people that do well the things that you don't do or don't want to do. Right? I'm the give me the 5-minute synopsis person.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to sit in the meeting about the meetings. Most meetings can be reduced to like 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But people order food, they want to talk, they want to let everybody talk. Like, this is kind of a waste of time. Like, but people like doing that. So throw your homie in there that like doing that. And then give me the 5-minute synopsis and I can agree on bullet points or not.
How do you think that artists, and two questions, right? Do you, if you had to give it a percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much of Jay-Z was just Jay, right? That's one question.
I think Jordan is going to be Jordan regardless of who the trainer is or who, you know, Jordan is going to be Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
And we seeing that. Now, did Michael Jordan's trainer become famous and then Kobe wanted to go to him and everybody tried to go? Yes, because he was Michael Jordan's trainer.
Mm-hmm.
But Jordan is going to be Jordan regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so do I have a great career based off the fact that a lot of people listen to really famous mixes from Jay-Z? Yes, but if Google wasn't there, somebody else would have been there. Pat Viola would have been there, or Doro would have been there, or whoever. Jay-Z is Jay-Z. So you get pleasure out of saying, okay, I'm working with the best, right? Or if he comes up with a marketing plan and you went to school for marketing and you got a job, now you get to execute that plan in a great way. But to me, Jay-Z would have been Jay-Z. Period. Now, that takes nothing away. And let me be very clear when I say this. That takes nothing away from the hard work that everyone surround. We all did hard work. Dame did hard work. Biggs did hard work. Hop did hard work. I did hard work. Taking nothing away from the hard work that all of us did. But to me, Jay-Z is going to be Jay-Z, period.
And what do you think, back to the question about like the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
The artists should or should not move until they get their team right?
It's a tough question. I think you should put yourself out there and practice your art, but I think you should structure your team. The earlier you structure your team, the better. The earlier you structure that. The worst thing I've seen is when people get the chance and they not ready. Like they've been saying, oh, I want to get on, and then somebody actually gives them that opportunity and just they structure ain't ready. You ain't got no business set up. You ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? No LLC, nothing like that, right? Like nothing set up. You don't got your publishing set up. You don't got nothing set up, and this person's trying to give you a chance. That's when you get jerked the worst. It don't cost you nothing to go set up an LLC and to have a business so that your taxes, your personal taxes, is separate from your business. It don't cost you nothing to research which, do you want to go to an ASCAP? Do you want to go with BMI? Do you want to get your performing rights together and go with CSAC? Do you know the difference between all of those? That ain't nothing but a Sunday and you jumping on the internet. Before, the information was like, I had to seek that out. I had to go find people that work there and ask them, how does publishing work? Like, thank God I had, you know, people at Howard University that really like loved me and took care of me. You know what I'm saying? Mark Pitts is the first person to ever sit me in a room and be like, this is publishing. Wayne Barrows is the first person to break it down in a way where I'm like, okay, now I understand this. They didn't owe me nothing. They off managing big. But it's because I went to Howard and they like, yo, too many of our people get jerked in this. I'm talking about with a group of us all in a room with them two with a whiteboard and them writing on a whiteboard of like, this is publishing. Somebody explained it to me. Then I had to learn about performing rights. And then all of that is available to you now just by typing in ASCAP in Google. Just by typing in BMI. You know what I'm saying? Then you got to start learning who is the big dogs in that specific thing. Like you worship this person but have no idea who Big John is.
Right.
So if you don't know Big John, like you don't even know the major players in the publishing world. So that thing of like, forget everything else, it boils down to how much of the song do you own. That is the music business in a nutshell. Everything else is promotion. Everything else is promotion. It boils down to how much of this song do you own. That's it. It's that simple. That is the music business in a nutshell. Now, there's things that have grown out of that, right? To where I would say to a Lupe Fiasco, and it's weird for me to talk to you in third person, but like I would say to a Lupe Fiasco, you also have to recognize the time that we in, because us as music and as music creatives, we concentrate so much on the music, and the thing has changed so much to where it's like, Jazzy Jeff said this great thing to me where it was just like, yo, bro, you so worried about concentrating on this thing that we sell for $10. Like a dude was standing outside giving away t-shirts if you bought the CD. right? He was standing outside. He's like, yo, give me $10 for the CD and you'll get the t-shirt. And he like, yo, you're giving away a $25 shirt to sell a $10 CD. Sell a $25 shirt and give away the CD.
Right.
That sort of thinking is like, yo, these are the things that will allow us to do our art and to present our art the way that we want to present it. Or like the thing Most did, where Most was like, all right, I'm gonna do an album, and the only way you can listen to this album is to come to the Brooklyn Museum. You know how much it costs for a day? It costs you the same amount to buy an album as it does to walk into the Brooklyn Museum. You buy a ticket for the day, you walk in there to go see this Most Def, you know what I mean, thing, you put on headphones, you look at a visual thing. That was a creative way of he probably made more money off that, and then he was just like, yo, I release an album.
Mm-hmm.
We start thinking of these creative ways in order to support our music. So those sort of things are the things that you need the team around for, because the times change like this. You know what I mean? And I know I could sell a $25 Lupe Fiasco t-shirt.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way I look at it. So I look at it like, how can I financially get you into a position where you're comfortable to where I can put out whatever the fuck I want to put out. My family's good. I can take care of everybody I need to take care of. I can express myself. And then I'm not worried about like how many radio spins did this get, or did this, you know, person stream it on their thing, or I'm not worried about that.
What do you, and a lot of game. What do you think, pull that back. What was your, out of your illustrious career up until this point,
Mm-hmm.
what was your, I guess, finest moment? You know, the moment where you,
My finest moment,
where you just
wow.
like this is like, you take that step back and you like, you know, achievement, success. This is, you know, I'm gonna tell the grandkids about this particular thing that just occurred.
Shit, it's so many moments, but personally, and it's weird because I know people want to hear like, oh, I won this Grammy, or, you know, oh, this album sold this, or this happened. It was really the day, bro. We was in Miami, right? And we was doing, we went down there. Hop had this great idea where he was like, let's get away, right? So we went down to Circle House, and we was in Miami for Circle House for like a month. And we was doing a bunch of stuff. It was really supposed to be a Bleak and Beans album. That was the idea that Hop had. Like, yo, we should do this combination Bleak and Beans album. But they work at like two totally different times. Bleak is like super early, right? Like he's up and working at like 8 o'clock in the morning, right? Beans is super late. So we didn't really get an album out of it, but it was cool because what came out of that was a State Property album, right? But while we was down there, Beans was already, we was filming videos, we was doing a bunch of stuff, right? I'm leading to this point of Jay came down and was having a meeting to figure out like where we at the given time. And I just felt this sense of pride, or like I belong, when Jay wouldn't start the meeting until I got there. That's when I was like, I'm in. Or like, I'm in the family. Like, this is a family. So Jay was like, I felt important at that point because Jay was like, I was late and he was holding up the meeting until I got there. And I was like, oh shit, like he held the meeting for me to get there. Like that shit meant a lot to me. Like it meant a lot to me because he was like, he's not the over talkative person. So it's just like, you know what I mean? It meant you are important. You matter. Your opinion, your information, like where you are with this whole thing of ours, it matters. So that, I guess, more than a Grammy, more than, you know, those things, because it's so many moments. Like I don't take nothing for granted, bro. Like I don't take none of this shit for granted. Like I said, I got friends that work all types of jobs. I don't take this. We make music for a living. I don't take none of this shit for granted, bro, at all. I've successfully, you know, at the age of 22, purchased a house, got that out the way, you know, 4 kids, put 2, you know what I mean? Like my daughter successfully through college, no loans, no nothing, off music. Off music. Like that thing does not go over my head. Or like, I was saying this to Michael Eric Dyson the other day, right? When I was talking to him, I was just like, yo, you realize that since the age of 22, I've literally only worked for black people and black people that are really only 4 years older than me.
Wow.
The maximum age, Jay's 4 years older than me.
Wow.
So anybody else is sort of younger than me. But I've only worked for black people since I was 22 years old. And the age is like this. So Chucky Thompson, Derek Angeletti, these are my bosses. Jay-Z, like, they all little like 3 to 4 years older than me. Or younger than me. Alicia Keys, I've toured with her too. Younger than, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've only worked for black men and women since I was 22 years old. That's a blessing.
That's crazy.
That's a blessing, bro. I don't have them hang-ups that, like, I don't know if you watched the Black as Fuck joint yet, right? And the hang-ups that Kenya has, and what he's talking about in there about self-identity. I don't have none of that shit.
Mm.
You've seen our environment in Baseline.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, you got a leader that, like, genuinely cares about you, that wants to see you thrive. You know what I'm saying? You've been around Jay a million. You come with an idea that's like, yo, here's a great way for me to make some money. Nigga, go for it. Like, go for it.
Yo, we went out to Jay house when he was in Jersey, right?
Right.
And
right.
Went up to the apartment, and G was there, but this was before G was like G, right? Like he's lowercase G, right?
Right.
Capital G, right?
Right.
And I remember, and you knew how we move, so you know how me and Chill move around.
Of course.
Good. We didn't necessarily need anything from anybody. Like, we was good.
Right. Right.
And I remember Jay was cleaning out his closet, bro. And it was like he just had a pile of stuff on the floor in the closet. And I'm just amazed. I'm like, yo, this man has like a solid gold Monopoly set. He got a this, he got a that. I'm just looking like this of the lifestyle, right? But anyway, he's cleaning out his closet, and they had I think they had Rocafella back then or something.
Yeah.
They maybe for sure. And he gave, it was like, yo, what you finna do with them Air Force One? Like, you look at the bottom, you like, bro, like you wore these, like you just wore these to the back. Like, what you finna do? It's not like the whole moral of the story, but I had mad pair of Jay-Z's Air Force Ones. I was like, yo, I'm taking, like, give me those. Chill looking at me like, bro. I'm like, look, I am taking these ones. Like, if he only,
yo, you took Air Force. I'm gonna tell you this because I don't really talk about shit like this a lot, right? But you took some Air Force Ones. Niggas in the crew was taking TVs, couches, all types of shit.
No, but look, the killer was this. So he give, like, I think G getting like he still had the Rockaway bags, you know, stuff he not finna wear, probably out the season. I can't really fit none of it, right? So I go back into like the living room or whatever, and Jay come out with a pair of pants, right? And he like, yo, these for you, right? it was like my first pair of Gucci jeans. Like he came, like he specifically was saying people snatching up the Rockaway stuff. He's like, hold on, yeah, I can get the t-shirts and the jump, but yo, them Gucci jeans, I'm giving them to Lupe. And he came.
Yo, Hop said 4 times a year we all did that. We would go shopping at Jay's house. Yo, I'll give you the best one. So, you know, back in my frivolous days, right? And this is the one thing, again, we live and we learn, and I'll never do this again. And the moral of this story is the last time that I tried to keep up with trends, right?
Right.
The last time I was doing that. So you got to imagine me. I'm getting it, but I'm not at J level, obviously, and I'm not even at Just level. You know what I'm saying? Just is killing. But when that jersey thing was going on, where the basketball jersey, we was battling, all of us, like every day. You know Jay was going to walk in with some dope-ass shit.
Right.
You know Just was going to walk in with some dope-ass shit. And for the people that don't know and can't tell, I'm 6'5", I'm tall, I'm lanky. I got to get a size 54 fucking jersey every day downtown North. I'm spending $150 or $300 on some real exclusive Mitchell & Ness shit every fucking day to walk in there with something fresh, right? Probably like 4 times a week, I'm buying a new jersey. So it's like, yo, we having this whole battle go on. He finally hits the line where he's like, take the jerseys off, throw on the button-ups, right? And I'm like, fuck, this shit is over, right? The very next day, Jay walked in with like 2 garbage bags. I'm talking about the big ass like construction like garbage bags, and plopped them shits dead in the middle of the lounge and baseline and was like, here, y'all, and it was all of his jerseys. And niggas is just like, yo, come on. And we just ravaged through that shit. It was taking jerseys. Yo, he used to do that shit all the time, bro. Like all the time.
Yo, I remember.
But that was the last time I was like, all right, I'm done with the trends. It's white t-shirts from here on out. Like, I'm done with the fucking keeping up with the Joneses shit. Cause I spent so much money on them goddamn jerseys and it was over like that. And I was like, fuck.
Yo.
Like I calculated how, I'm like, yo, I had to spend at least a good 50 racks on fucking jerseys, yo. Like jerseys.
Yikes. I remember when the S dots first came out. And Jay, that's when we signed to Arista. So we was at being
okay.
Chill. I think Mark Hitz was there.
Yep.
And so Jay pulled up. And the funny part about this, and I think what we look at Jay as like superhuman, like the world thinks like Jay is like this superhuman dude, and he is.
I don't like that part. I don't, and I'm gonna let you get the point off, but I'm gonna come back to that superhuman part because I don't like that part of it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right. And so when I say Jay pulls up, right, it's like, I mean, he's got a driver, but it's like Jay pulls up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, come downstairs. He popped the trunk, and he's got S dots in his trunk, and he's just like, here, I got shoes for you. Here. And I was like, yo, this dude, he supposed to be in another car, and somebody else supposed to pull up, and then
I get it.
They supposed to do that, but it's like him, like he'll walk up and be like, yo, here's my shoes. Here you go.
Cause he rock with you.
Send them to you.
Rock with you.
Because I know I'm gonna bring them.
Rock with you. But he don't do that to everybody. He rock with you.
Mm.
You see what I mean? But the other part, to build off of what you said, like I understand people look at him like he's superhuman, but sometimes that take away from the work.
Mm.
So when you do great shit, people be like, oh, well, it's Jay-Z. I'm like, nah, nigga, we work hard as fuck on this shit. It ain't just like magic. It ain't just like, oh, it's Jay-Z. He walk in the room so the shit just happens. Like, no, like this is a lot of hard work. You know what I mean? Like that takes away from it sometimes because you be like, oh, well, he has superpowers. And I'll be like, nah, nigga, it's hard fucking work. And if you work that hard and if you are that precise about your thing and like that in tune with yourself and know yourself as a human being, then you can put out that level of work. But it ain't no magic trick that go on or be like, oh, this dude is superhuman, where it's like, nah, bro, he got incredible talent, but he worked hard. Don't take away from the work and the thought process and the like, this is where I am. And people say that sometimes and it throws me because I'm like, nah, bro, you don't realize like it's a lot of editing going on in here. Like it's a lot of like actualization of where we are in the world with everything.
Mm.
You know what I mean? With everything. So I'm like, yeah, he's that good, but it's also that hard work. It's like you see how good Kobe is, but he's if you listen to the trainer that trained Michael Jordan and Kobe, he talks about those different personalities of like the people that will win and they go out and celebrate and they get drunk or whatever, and then Kobe will win and go right back in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
Because like that's done. I already did that. Now I got to prepare for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. That's how you keep going. My father used to say, like, if you get a dunk in the game, act like you did it before.
Mm.
That ain't the greatest thing in the world. Like, go now, turn around and play defense. You know, you get the point of what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
that's why it's great. Is because it's like the hard work is over and over and over and over again in everything. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the biggest thing for me with him and with the like. Not only is it that talent, but also the promotion of like where you want to go with it and how you want to roll it out. And like you said, that marketing plan was me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's my thing with that. Like it is that level of it, but it's also like you as a human being realizing like Martin Luther King was a regular man. Malcolm X was these are just people who made a decision that they're going to do certain things so that you can see that in yourself. I have the ability to do that. You know what I mean? Because if you make them into these mystical things, it's going to remove them from you. You got to be able to see the God in you. You know what I mean? Like that God gene is in yourself. That's the real power in not making these people into these mystical characters. Right. That's my real point for like the youth too. Like you got to be able to see that thing in you. You have the ability to be Malcolm X. You know what I mean? Like those things take it away from that.
Do you remember? Do you? I'm trying to. I think the first time I ever rapped for Jay, it was just me and one of my homies, and I kicked the verse, and then it's like, "Yo, come to New York." Right?
Yes.
And
now here's the setup. And again, I'm not cutting you off, but here's the setup. What you didn't know is that day he said to me, he was like, "Yo, I got this guy coming in, boom, 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 and he's nice as fuck." That's the way he set it up, right? So when you and Chill came in there, he had already gave me a setup of like, I got this guy coming who I've heard before, and I've never heard, but the way he's saying it to me is like, he know me, where he like, "Goo, you don't like nobody." A million motherfuckers came through Baseline trying to rap. But he like, "Goo, you don't like nobody." I'm telling you, you're going to love this dude. So I'm not interrupting your story. I'm just telling you what the setup was.
And went in there, had this, I think we had to see, I can't remember, for me it's blurry. I got like my memory, and that's why I'm glad you're here, because I want you to kind of refresh like the memory.
Absolutely.
And what happened. So the way I remember it is, came in there, I feel like I played the CD.
Yep.
Started rapping.
Yep.
I feel like Premier was in there.
Premier was definitely there.
And the CD started skipping.
Yep. I remember the whole day. Yep. Yep.
But I started rapping to the skips.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. If you didn't say it, I was about to get right to that point. That's when we all looked at each other and was like, "Oh, this nigga's nice." Like that was the whole point. Yo, I've never seen nothing like that. So the CD playing, you was grooving, like you was doing your thing. But then the CD started fucking up, and it was just like, nah, he's rapping to the skips. And then after that, you started going a cappella, right? We stopped it, and we started going a cappella after that. And I was just like, "Jay, you right. Like, he's incredible. He's incredible." You wanna know what the real behind the scenes bullshit was, though? It was a couple niggas in Baseline that was like, "Yo, he nice, but I don't know if niggas is going to accept him because he wears glasses." So I'm like, "Yo, you basing the shit off the way the nigga look? Did you just hear what the fuck he said?" So it was like early on, it was like, "Yo, are y'all niggas bugging because he had glasses on?" Like it was a weird thing to me. I remember being mad at some of my people because I'm like, "What the fuck is you talking about? Did you hear the bars that he was just talking about?" Like that shit pissed me. So you had left. And I'm dealing with that, and I'm like, "Yo, y'all not gonna sit here and tell me that this wasn't the most incredible shit you ever heard because he had glasses on." It was a lot that went on that day. Pardon me, I'm trying to open my red stripe. I'm trying to open my red stripe.
Nah, do what you gotta do. So look, Goo, we gotta catch up, man.
Yeah, we do.
I mean, you're an inspiration, and just you've always been like this. You know, this isn't nothing new. You know, like you've always been about lessons and building. And I remember a lot of time spent at Baseline was conversations. That's what I was saying. It was a lot of talking, going back and forth, building on things amongst folks who respected and loved each other. And I appreciate being a part of that. You know what I'm saying? And being in the midst of that, no matter what the circumstance.
I miss those days, man. I miss them days like crazy. Like as much as you talked about like people not being in the same room no more. Like I miss them days of all of us being in the same room and like me coming to work and like knowing that Hop was gonna be there and like, you know what I mean, Just was gonna be there, like Pink was gonna be there. Like I missed them days of just knowing the producers and everybody was gonna work together, man. And it was just an ill environment. It was an ill time in New York, you know what I mean? And for that to be right there on 26 between 6th and 7th, it was just centrally located, and it was just an ill experience, man. That was literally like my life for a good 10 to 12 years, was every day at that same spot making music. Just the vibe of what was in there was just that ultimate thing of what produced a lot. So, you know, that vibe is gone, but it's like neck and my main focus, bro, was just like, I don't ever want you to feel like you got to question what you want to put out. That's it, man. That's it. That was my whole purpose for getting on here, is just to reinforce and remind you that you are you. You are you. Your intelligence, your level of rhyming, you know, your taste, you know, that thing we was talking about earlier about taste, and like you let some of that go when you get into these labels. And I understand you're the perfect situation of having to deal with the bullshit. You know what I mean? We all watched it, but that thing can never be taken away from you of you being you and how good you are. That thing, man, is like, and it's not just for you, it's for all the MCs that feel that way. Whereas it's like, nah, you got a fan base like me out here that loves that shit. We love that shit. We love it. Like, put it out. It's a difference between records I gotta play to be current in the club for a certain age group, and it's a difference between what I listen to in my house. My son is that way. When my son, he's 16 and they listen to everything. When he's out with his friends and they party and they listen to a certain type of music. In the house, he listens to a different whole type of music. He want to hear MCs. You know what I mean? And then his generation, they get pulled in through who they deem as the people that are rapping. And then once they get pulled in through the people that they think are rapping, I can go, okay, well, now let me introduce you to this high level of rap. You see what I'm saying? And then, you know, he has a connection to it, but it got to be out there in order for me to do that, bro. It got to be out there. Put that music out, man.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. Always
appreciate you.
Always was always great energy, and it still consists to be great energy, man. And
my brother,
let's tune in. I'll keep you abreast of things.
I'm here.
And be safe, brother. Love you, man.
My brother, love you too. Yes, sir.
Hey, if y'all don't know, make sure y'all follow Young Guru, the biggest of the biggest homies. As you can see, every